While industry associations can play a vital role in addressing digital ad fraud, there are several challenges that can hinder their effectiveness in combating this pervasive issue. Firstly, the rapidly evolving nature of ad fraud presents a constant challenge. Fraudsters continuously adapt their tactics, staying well ahead of trade associations' knowledge base. The content being shared at annual conferences are out of date and potentially even misleading. For example, that ad fraud is 1% or lower year after year, or that there's no fraud in CTV because it's impossible. Secondly, despite the availability of standards, the spotty adoption of these standards by the industry poses a significant obstacle. Different stakeholders have varying levels of commitment and resources dedicated to combating ad fraud. They may also have internal conflicts whereby reducing fraud means reducing their own revenues. Without a cohesive and consistent approach, industry associations and members face difficulties in establishing a united front against fraudsters. Thirdly, the reluctance of some industry participants to share data, collaborate with others, and learn new things impedes progress. Advertisers, publishers, and technology providers may be hesitant to disclose fraud incidents, just like they hesitate to disclose data breaches, due to concerns about reputation or competitive advantage. This siloed approach limits the collective knowledge about the real size and nature of the ad fraud problem. Lastly, the absence of stringent regulations and enforcement mechanisms is another factor contributing to the failure of the battle against ad fraud thus far. Rubber stamp certifications from industry trade groups don't reduce fraud. In fact, they help fraudsters get away with it for longer. Without strong legal frameworks and penalties, fraudsters can operate with relative impunity. Even foreign actors, nation-states, terrorists, and other bad actors are getting in on this pot of gold. To address these challenges, industry associations need to first be open to voices outside their own echo chamber. New and better knowledge about ad fraud and all of its nuances are necessary to drive real change. Talk about transparency needs to be replaced by action and actual transparency. Even to this day, the fraud numbers cited by trade groups come from legacy fraud vendors they've blessed with certifications. This is what's created the untenable toilet swirl of ignorance. It is time for trade associations to get on board, or get out of the way. Grandiose speeches about cutting the crap out of the programmatic supply chain should be more like, quote, cut the crap that's said every year on the main stage. If the old guard's the problem, fire them. They've been slopping in their million-dollar annual salaries for too long, while Rome burns. Advertisers are taking matters in their own hands now, and using FouAnalytics to see better, so they can do better, despite what the trade associations tell them about ad fraud. If enough advertisers realize the wool that's been pulled over their eyes for at least the last 7 years, they'd probably not renew their annual dues and stop wasting money on tag certifications. We can all do better at combating digital ad fraud and protecting the integrity of digital advertising. Let's fucking go!